All right, welcome back to another After Dark episode, everyone. I've got a fun one for you guys. This one was by request, and this is part one of a three-part series I think you all are going to enjoy. This is another one by Secret Base, and this should be some good storytelling, good stuff here. This one's called The Work Beef Between Shaq and Kobe, Part 1. Big brother, little brother. So everybody grab a drink, grab some snacks, let's settle in, let's enjoy this. It's going to be a fun night. All right, as always, I'm going to link the original video down below in the description so you can watch it without my commentary if you like. Everybody else, if you do me a favor and leave this video a like, I'd really appreciate it. It would help it get out. And without further ado, let's reminisce about some Shaq and Kobe. Here we go.
You and I work at a basket company. We are basket makers. It's our job. We can agree that you make a basket by shooting this ball through this hoop. But who should do that? How should we prepare? What's our design? Which tools should we use? How do we make a basket? I'm not saying there's a right answer to these questions. I'm just saying if we can't agree on an answer, we might have a pretty bad time at work.
Fair enough.
Beef should not define the shared legacy of Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. Shaq and Kobe's relationship includes 3 consecutive NBA championships, with plenty of love and celebration shared throughout. They are one of the most successful tandems in sports history.
Yeah, for sure.
That is their legacy. Everything else is secondary. This is important to Shaq, and it's easy to understand why. Kobe Bryant died in 2020 at the age of 41. One of 9 people killed suddenly when their helicopter crashed in Calabasas, California.
Rest in peace, y'all.
Shaq shared his mourning in public, profound remembrances of the brother he lost, including a TNT special immediately following the tragedy. On that night, and in subsequent reflections on his relationship with Kobe, Shaq expressed regret but diminished the notion of beef.
People like to talk about the relationship. I'm here to set it straight. It was a big brother relationship, little brother, but the respect was there. After I won my first championship, who was the first guy to jump in arms? When the guy twisted his ankles in the finals and couldn't walk, who was the guy that carried him down the hall? From now on, I don't want to hear about the beef that y'all thought we had.
To the
It's a lesson. The part that they didn't show there was the amount of regret he has, because he said he never reached out to Kobe, and he regretted it, significantly regrets it, because he talks about how easy it would have been just to shoot him a text and say, what's up, little fella. So, as always, I like to remind people, reach out to those you love. Just say hi.
extent that Shaq and Kobe feuded,
even when folks thought we were on bad terms, when the cameras were turned on or turned off, he and I would throw a wink at each other and say, let's go whoop some ass. Fair enough.
Neil has characterized it as a rivalry between competitors who respected one another and pushed each other to win. He said the beef was contrived, media bait, and intentional marketing stunt. And whatever it was,
yeah, that
it
part
ended.
was not real.
After their 8 years as teammates, once both men had retired from pro basketball, Shaq and Kobe resolved their differences. They reconnected privately for sure, but also for an audience, on television, on podcasts, and on social media. During those years of public reconciliation, Shaq used a key phrase that helps us square his own dismissals with documented history. Work beef. Work beef means a few things. For one, it denotes a period of time. That resolution happened after they stopped working together. Bygones were bygones. Look at how Shaq and Kobe in retirement could laugh about a fight they had early in their partnership.
Yeah.
They remember the trash talk in detail.
We're playing a pickup game. We was doing a lockout season. We're on opposite teams.
Right.
Trash talking.
Yes.
And you kept saying, yeah, take that little take that little I'm like, I'm looking around. Oh, me.
Yes.
They remember things getting physical, if not evenly matched.
I said, oh, hold on. Ain't gonna be too many more of those little,
Yeah, I remember that.
And what you say? Well, what you gonna do about it? What you gonna do about it? And then that's, the next thing I knew, I saw a big hand coming this way. And I remember going this way. I remember throwing some lollipop.
And they remember this as the moment Shaq realized how intense and how brash the young Kobe really was.
We had our first fight, and you looked and said, okay, this is crazy.
I did say that.
Yeah, I did. You did.
In the hindsight of two champions and Hall of Famers,
boy.
the fight represents an early sign of the success to come.
I'm looking at this and I'm saying, man, he wants this thing. It consumes him. And then from that moment on, I knew we spoke the same language. It doesn't matter if we had disagreements this and the other, our drive to win, like we have to win. There's no other option.
But at the time, that success wasn't a given. Teammates fight each other for a reason. Shaq's preferred phrase applies. Not all sports beef is work beef. Often, animus between athletes takes root in personal, off-the-field stuff.
Oh,
Money,
boy.
fame. It takes root
Showing
in
this one, y'all know what happened here.
personal, off-the-field stuff. Money, fame,
Sharapova.
politics, relationships. That's not where Shaq vs. Kobe came from. It eventually spilled into those realms. It got personal. But this beef was, in its foundation, a feud about work, about the right way to practice and play basketball. So I ask again, how do we make a basket? How do we make a basket?
Cool intro.
In the summer of 1990,
Money. More. Well, it was one more year. Still, how are you going to turn down that money? Plus, you know Shaq wanted to be in Hollywood. He was already Hollywood before he was in, when he was still in Orlando. Guy was making movies, putting out rap albums, commercials up the butt. Like, yeah, he was destined for LA.
Bryant was less obvious. The 17-year-old wing had, like Kevin Garnett the year before him, elected to skip college and head straight from high school to the league. As was the case with Garnett, many NBA executives lacked the patience to develop a teenager. West was one of them, until he watched Kobe in person. The Lakers brought Bryant in for a workout as a favor to his agent, Arn Tellem. The workout went well. Suddenly, West had
Jerry
another
West.
guy he needed to make a Laker. But LA didn't own a high enough pick in the first round of the '96 draft. What followed was a high-wire act so stressful, so exhausting, that it drove West into the hospital. At least it paid off. With a little subterfuge and a little cajoling, West was able to orchestrate the following. Bryant dropped to the 13th pick, held by the Charlotte Hornets. The Lakers acquired Bryant's rights by trading Charlotte their center, Vlade Divac. Offloading Vlade's salary helped LA boost their offer to O'Neal, who signed days later. So shout out to Vlade Divac. He could have wrecked this whole maneuver by standing firm on his threat to retire instead of reporting to Charlotte.
Yeah,
Vlade
that
relented.
is crazy.
The deal went through. West got both his guys.
Imagine that. We would have missed out on the Shaq and Kobe era if Vlade were to just be a punk. I don't even want to say be a punk. He had every right to just say, screw you guys. You know, contract's a contract. But it could have happened.
Now what? How did this new Lakers roster fit together? Shaq being the prototypical NBA center came with the requisite limitations. The dude was as productive as anyone has ever been inside the paint, but that was basically his range.
Yep.
You didn't need to guard him out here. He didn't shoot jumpers, he didn't dribble or pass from the perimeter. In short,
And he didn't need
needed a sidekick, someone to get him the ball. Shaq grew up admiring Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who won championships in LA once the Lakers paired him with Magic Johnson. Those two legends had little in common personality-wise, but they were the perfect combination of world-class scorer and world-class passer.
And that's why, just when it comes purely basketball, if you take the money out of it, he had the right guy with Penny the first time. Because Penny was a pass-first guy who could still shoot with the best of them, drive with the best of them, just score with the best of them. But he was a pass-first guy looking to get the ball to Shaq. He had it. Kobe Bryant, not a pass-first guy. He was Michael Jordan. You know, he was the next like Michael Jordan type player. So he had it right the first time. But, you know, He went with the money.
In Orlando, Shaq had handpicked his own version of Magic Johnson.
Yeah, he did.
He pushed the team to make a 1993 draft day trade for Penny Hardaway.
Real quick, do you guys see Blue Chips back in the day? Me, my dad, my brother, we all saw it in a theater when it came out. So crazy. That's where they met.
Penny loved to pass. He was happy to share the ball and the spotlight. They seemed like a young Kareem and Magic for a new era.
It was.
Disparate personalities, yet ideal complements on the floor. The rare tandem that could get you all the way to the NBA Finals before they turned 24. Orlando squandered that perfect fit, and their loss was the Lakers' gain.
Yeah, but before that, Shaq ruined it with his jealousy. Because I don't know why. It's still, that one blows my mind to this day. Why he was getting jealous of Penny getting some attention. If he wanted that Magic Kareem dynamic, he should have remembered that Magic Johnson got a ton of attention. But it wasn't win first for Shaq. He wanted the attention and the money first, then win.
But if Shaq was to follow in Kareem's LA footsteps, would he have a Magic? Could anyone play that role the way Penny did in Orlando?
Nope.
The Lakers already employed some legit candidates. Rising all-star wing Eddie Jones and speedy dynamo Nick Van Exel. But Shaq understood from the outset that neither would become his co-star. Everyone knew it would be Kobe, especially Kobe. Kobe Bryant was a different kind of teenager. Bryant was already a bigger celebrity in high school than most players are as pros.
Yeah.
Skipping college only accelerated that. Kobe had a sneaker deal. He had TV appearances, plural. The kid had a SAG card. The papers covered Kobe's senior prom because his date was Brandy.
Hey, what's a SAG card?
Bryant came by this fame honestly, by putting the ball in the basket. He was an electrifying athlete and insatiable bucket getter, a shooter and a slasher, a state champion. Envisioning Kobe's potential, people had no qualms using the letters M and J.
Yeah.
To be clear, that's M for Michael and J for Jordan. No one saw Kobe becoming a pass-first mega point guard like Magic Johnson, or Penny Hardaway for that matter.
Yeah.
If you squinted
no shot
into
in
the
hell.
future, you saw a pure scorer. The rare shooting guard who could finish oodles of possessions by himself. Kobe wanted the ball. And his personality as a colleague mirrored his mindset as a player. He was sure the Lakers would be his team someday. So sure so soon that the older, more established O'Neal was like, whoa, hey, slow down, Haas. Shaq spoke in his usual playful way about taking Kobe under his wing as a little brother. But Kobe wouldn't be belittled, wouldn't go along with hazing rituals like the other rookies. Kobe had fancied himself a loner since moving to the US from Italy as a child. He kept to himself in the Lakers locker room. He didn't play cards with teammates. He didn't go to the club. He was hyper-focused to the point of aloofness on his game.
Hell, I hear the stories from his teammates from that era. And let's be fair. He wasn't old enough to go to the club. You know, he wasn't old enough to drink with his teammates. So it just wasn't a thing for him. While they were out having fun together, he was in the gym working hard.
While Kobe worked behind the scenes, opportunities to develop on the court were scarce at the outset. He had just turned 18 after all. Kobe scavenged for minutes in his first season, buried in Coach Del Harris's rotation. When he did get to play, he shot. A lot.
Yeah, he did. Shot
from any angle, shot in any situation. On a per-minute basis, he attempted more field goals than anyone but Shaq. Shaq recalls telling Kobe he was doing too much by himself, throwing off the team's rhythm, only to get shut down repeatedly by a kid 6 years younger than him. Kobe's boldness made for highlights, like this 360 in-game dunk. This is quite a risk for a teenage bench player to take when you could just have 2 points for free. And it made for a few smooth 20-point outings. It got him invited to the dunk contest. It also made for...
By the way, I was just in the comments before talking to somebody about the old Pistons logo, and we both agreed that old horse logo was pretty awesome. Chime in. What do you guys think?
Outings. It got him invited to the dunk contest. It also made for tremendous whoopsies, like his infamous parade of air balls when called into action in a conference semifinal elimination game against the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, had no legs.
Shaq almost seemed to like Kobe better in a humbling moment like that playoff flameout, praising the rookie for the guts he demonstrated with the season on the line. Kobe appreciated that. But O'Neal later wrote that he wanted to vomit in that moment, and that Kobe had learned the wrong lessons from all that shooting. Shaq had taken to calling Kobe Boy Wonder or Showboat.
Wait, who said that?
Everyone could tell.
Sorry.
Shaq had taken to Kobe had learned.
I'm standing along on the bench and I want to vomit. What did he learn? I'm not sure. Hey, brother, how about learning to pass? Who said? Shaq uncut. So wait, Shaq went back on it? Okay. 2011. This is when he hated Kobe. Okay. So he switched the narrative there.
Learned the wrong lessons. Team.
Yeah, how crazy is that? All-star starter, but not a Lakers starter yet.
But Kobe's teammates weren't fans. The individualism didn't please Shaq, especially when those shots stopped falling. Shaq chided teammates for taking off-balance, one-legged jumpers like a bunch of Rex Chapman wannabes. Kobe, for one, wasn't going to stop pulling. Shaq was getting impatient. The Lakers did advance a round further in the '98 playoffs, but that just meant they got crushed by the Jazz in the conference finals instead of the semifinals. Even after that big season, Coach Harris hardly used Kobe against Utah. When Kobe did play, it was ugly, including 7 of 24 shooting in the first 2 games of a miserable sweep. The Lakers weren't making enough baskets, and Shaq was tired of waiting for Kobe to figure it out. But in 1998, everyone had to wait for everything. Negotiations on a new collective bargaining agreement dragged the offseason from the usual summer months all the way into early 1999. During that desolate, locked-out winter, Shaq and Kobe...
So real quick, that is right after the Bulls dismantled. They just won their 3rd championship. The Bulls dismantle here, and then we go into the lockout season.
Early January 1999, the Southwest College Gymnasium in LA, a popular pickup spot for local pros locked out of their practice facilities. A handful of Lakers were there: Derek Fisher, Corey Blunt, Shaq, and in a rare appearance, Kobe. He usually trained alone, but perhaps had some cabin fever after so many months of work stoppage. They played pickup, 2-on-2. Shaq and Kobe were on opposite teams, and something happened. An altercation. A few weeks later, LA reporters got some details. Apparently, Shaq slapped Kobe. When asked, both parties said it was no big deal.
Oh, man, a slap from that hand? That can cause a concussion easy.
Everyone moved on. In a book released a couple years later, Shaq called his slap a karate push, the kind of thing he'd do to someone he didn't want to hurt. But over time, other people filled in details. In the Kobe biography Showboat, released 17 years after the fight, Derek Fisher said some true feelings came out between Shaq and Kobe, extremely negative ones. He also said only 4 people were there, but Shaq and Kobe themselves use another name in their recollection.
Olden Polynice came and caught, and then they all just kind of broke us apart.
Olden Polynice was a free agent at the time, hoping to join the Lakers once the lockout ended. Here's what he told Jeff Pearlman in 2020. Kobe was playing way too physical for a pickup game. Shaq was calling way too many fouls. Kobe got sick of the calls. Shaq threatened to slap him, and then the trash talk got rather pointed, rather specific. This is my team. No, it's my team. You're not a leader. I will get you traded.
Oh,
and then,
fuck.
Yeah, Shaq slapped Kobe. Corey Blunt confirms it. Polynice says Shaq would have killed Kobe, who did not stop mouthing off if he and others didn't step in. Apparently, Shaq's bodyguard, Jerome, was there too.
Dude, that image right there. Sorry, man. Sometimes I pause at the funniest moments on accident like this. Yeah, they were crazy. They were crazy. All that in a freaking pickup game. But it looks like they were holding on to this for a while, so they needed to let it out. But Kobe crazy, man. Kobe's absolutely nuts. And I think he realized it in his older age when he was reminiscing with Shaq about this. Because he was like, what the hell was I thinking? You know, because Shaq could have actually killed him, like, or severely injured him for the rest of his life. Paralyzed him, something. He got slapped after he was warned, and then he kept barking. Like, Kobe just, that's the biggest guy in NBA history. Like, the most giant, mass-filled guy in NBA history. And Kobe didn't give a damn.
So, again, this isn't to dispute how Shaq and Kobe interpret the fight several decades and 3 championships later of any Laker.
Shout out to Afro Kobe.
Already hearing whispers that he was a breached containment, Shaq made sure of it. In front of reporters, O'Neal said Kobe was the problem they were too scared to write about, the experiment holding his team back.
Wow, so before they even won together, Shaq had turned on Kobe. Hardcore turned on him.
Kobe sort of shrugged. He and Shaq didn't have a personal problem since, despite everyone else's efforts, they hardly knew each other. It must be on the court stuff and, hey, I'm trying. But even when Kobe did play positive team-first basketball, like defending Scottie Pippen in his first career playoff series as a starter,
Insane.
Shaq found a way to say something snide to reporters.
Whoever was that, the dude. Yeah. I don't know why Shaq always had to do this kind of stuff, man. He throws these passive-aggressive little jabs at his co-star. And he finally stopped doing that with Miami. But his first 2 stints, man, with Penny and Kobe, I don't know why he felt the need to do this. Never mind, I do. The guy's insecure as all hell.
Around this time, Magic Johnson took it upon himself to encourage
Came to the Suns. I didn't know that there was a possibility at a Shaq and Penny.
the first 15 games of the year. The injury was kind of convenient. Kobe's absence gave
Hey, in the comments, let me know. I don't remember this one. How did Kobe break his hand?
everyone else an opportunity to get comfortable in Winter and Jackson's triangle offense, with Shaq as the apex. The Lakers went 11-4 over that Kobe-free stretch and kept right on crushing once Kobe returned, including a 16-game win streak spanning the new millennium. But the moment Kobe held the ball or took shots Shaq didn't like, the big guy griped. Teammates, vets like Ron Harper and Brian Shaw, did their best to settle both parties. The head coach focused on building a bridge to Kobe from Shaq's side of the chasm. Jackson felt more of a connection over there. He gave O'Neal the most encouragement and the most criticism. Winter was among some assistants who tended to side with Kobe, and Tex actually cut film for the sole purpose of trying to prove to Shaq that Kobe was passing more than ever before, which statistically...
Hold on. I think Kobe's really learning or really leaning over backwards to get the ball into Shaq. If there's a problem there, and I think we'll work it out, it's that I don't think Shaq appreciates what Kobe is trying to do to help his game. Wow. Yeah, so they did. They had to play parents. Tex was on one side with Kobe, and Phil was on the other side with Shaq. Smart. So they ended up like bridging the gap for them to communicate.
He was. In one of his many books, Phil Jackson recounts a scene that may have been a bit of a turning point for this first chapter of beef. Right after that 16-game win streak, the Lakers had a little string of ugly losses and unconvincing victories. After one of those 2 close wins against the Cavaliers, Shaq supposedly announced in front of the whole team that Kobe was playing too selfishly for the Lakers to win.
Oh boy.
Once again, he ignited a full team debate about the right way to play. This time, however...
Who's Shaq to say at this point? He hasn't won a championship yet. Like, he's acting like he's actually Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Eventually, yeah, he had the right to speak up like this, but at this point, 0 chips, man. You haven't gotten it done.
Some guys seemed to side with Kobe, and Kobe spoke up for himself a bit. Whatever was said in that debate, whatever the guys took away from it, something clicked the rest of that season. The Lakers won an astounding 30 of 31 games from February to April,
Jesus.
with Shaq leading the way. 67 wins overall made LA one of the best regular season teams in history. On Shaq's 28th birthday, he dropped a career-high 61 points on the Clippers.
Yeah.
Look who passed up a clean look to get Shaq over the 60-point hump. And look how gladly Shaq returned the favor before exiting.
Birthday under the Kobe. Shaq gets the assist, and Kobe makes a spectacular underneath.
Shaq was league MVP in a landslide. Kobe was more efficient, more team-oriented than ever. Headlines compared the duo sincerely and favorably to Magic and Kareem. At last, Shaq made it back to the finals. LA cemented their Western Conference final victory against the Portland Trailblazers with
great.
What else? A picture-perfect Kobe to Shaq connection that shook the Staples Center.
I can't believe he left Shaq in that moment. I can't believe he left him.
Blazers with what
Who
else?
is that? It's too blurry for me to tell. Who is that?
A picture-perfect
How
Kobe
did
to
you
Shaq
leave him?
connection that
You had Rashid coming in for the weak side. He was going to come in and help on Kobe. Oh, man.
with what else? A picture-perfect Kobe to Shaq connection that shook the Staples Center.
Damn, and he blew by Pippen, too. Hey, good offense, man. Good
Shaq
offense.
led the way in those 2000 finals, dominating the Indiana Pacers down low. Kobe had his moments too, playing hero late in Game 4 despite a bad ankle. Shaq always reminds people of that season's final scene, the first thing that happened when the clock struck 0 on the long-awaited championship. Shaq and Kobe were together in the locker room, basking in glory. They were together in praise of their coach, the guy who instilled patience and collaboration in teammates who had lacked it. Thanks to Phil, Shaq and Kobe figured out how to make a basket. They did it by basically following Shaq's vision. Ever since the broken hand delayed his debut, Kobe had been a sidekick. He passed more than ever and scored when called upon. Shaq got the ball. He got to be big brother. He got to be finals MVP, and he got his ring. Mission accomplished. Beef presumably over. Time to celebrate. Phil went to Montana to relax. Shaq went to Vegas to party. Kobe stayed in LA.
Yep. And this is where the real beef starts.
Players who want to become better scorers spend all offseason in the gym putting up shots. They almost always quantify that daily work in the hundreds. 300 shots a day, 400, 500. Every now and then you'll see numbers quoted in the thousands. The offseason after his Lakers won that first championship, this was the number trailing Kobe Bryant. But this isn't the number of shots. This is the number of makes
Goddamn.
in however many more attempts.
Damn.
Shaq celebrated. Phil relaxed. Kobe, they said, made 2,000 baskets a day. All summer long.
Wow. Oh, man. That's great. That's just great. I'll leave it on that image. Oh, man. All right. I didn't want this to end. So that's part one. I didn't know I was going to do it, but I'm enjoying this so much. I'm going to come back tomorrow night. And tomorrow night's After Dark, we're going to do part 2. And then I'm pretty sure we're going to do part 3 right afterwards. Let's just go through it in the next couple of days here. If y'all don't mind, that is. But if you do mind, I'm going to do it anyways because this is just great. This is great content. Once again, shout out to Secret Base. Guys and gals, if you like what you're seeing here, definitely go over to Secret Base. They've got tons of great content like this. I don't know why it took me so long to start covering some of this stuff, but so that's phase 1 of their work beef. They finally get to the top of the mountain. They win a championship together. And then I'm not going to talk about what happens next, even though a lot of you probably know, because let's let the story tell itself. But let's just say they all went their separate way for the summer, and when they come back, things got interesting. So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut it out there because I want to talk about this because I love this story. But I'm gonna go ahead and just shut it down for tonight. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope this puts a smile on your face and gives you some good memories heading into the rest of your night. And yeah, like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more. If you do, I'll see you for part 2 tomorrow. And if you don't, I won't. But yeah, big message though from the beginning of this video. Call your loved ones. Tell them you love them. You know, shoot them a text. Do something. Because, you know, we don't need to be living with regrets the same way that Shaq does at this point. Anyways, I don't want to get too gushy, but everybody, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for helping me grow this channel. I'm having a great time, and I'll see you all in the comments below. Let's share some Shaq and Kobe memories together. All right. Peace out, everybody. Good night.